Alright guys, check this baby out. This thing is a Suzuki Quadracer 250cc. It's not the Quadzilla 500, but this thing's pretty sweet. It's really clean looking too for 1986. So it says selling this 1986 Suzuki LT250R I picked up a few months ago as a project. Bought it as is, knowing it started sometimes but ran poorly. I intended to fix it as a project, but just don't have the time. I'm honestly sure it's something simple, but haven't had the time to put into it. It will start and kind of run poorly and then die once it's hot. So that's kind of weird that it dies when it's hot. That's usually like electrical or like CDI or something like that, which is kind of weird. Or like the pistons binding to the cylinder. He said last guy put new piston and rings in. Oh, well that takes care of that problem. And said he sent the cylinder out for plating. We'll have to check that out for sure. And has stock bore size, which is good. Has FMF Gold Series pipe, those are expensive. Mayer Racing plastics, oh that's kind of nice. Overall seems to be in pretty good condition for the age. Have some extra parts to go with it, sold as is. Project machine, very fast when running properly. Would make an awesome winter project, blah 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 blah. It's up for $17.50 and I offered $15. He came back up to 16 and said that he really wants to get 16 for it. And I said, with it not running properly, 15 is like the top dollar for these things. It runs, but doesn't run properly, and it could be anything. Could be the crank, could be the piston, could be the cylinder. And parts for these aren't super cheap, so we agreed at 15. I'm gonna go pick this thing up, and hopefully it's not the crank. I'm basically hoping it's not the crank or the bottom end, because then things start to get pretty pricey. If it's just a piston, that's fine, $150 for a piston. But if it's the crank, we're gonna be looking at like $500. So fingers crossed, it's not the crank. We're gonna go look at it, check it out, and see what's going on with this thing. Should be a good mystery build. I love a good mystery when digging into these things, so should be interesting. All right, just got her back home. $1,500. Looks pretty good. I think it's got a different axle on here too. Dura something. Dura Blue. This is California. Got a nice tail light on it. Pretty clean. Plastics look nice. But we'll get her unloaded, take a closer look, and then start digging into it. Alright, here we go, first look. There you can see it's pretty clean. That pipe is sweet. Pretty clean for an 86. Alright, so the quad came with some extra parts. It looks like it was in a Weisco box. It says crankshaft assembly. So maybe there is a new crank in it, or maybe the box is just from a different machine, but it does have this box as well. So I'm wondering if there is a whole new rod, piston, everything in there. But looking at these, it looks like it comes with an extra cylinder. I didn't even know that. And the cylinder has some light scoring on it. I'm wondering if a hone could take that off. My fingernail doesn't really catch, so it's a possibility that a light hone might work. You can see there's like one bigger scratch down there. Kind of see it, but it's not too bad. At least that's an option. And then here, put that off to the side here. Here's the head that was on it before. You can see the marks right there. So the piston at one point must have gotten crunched, and then usually when the piston comes up, there's like a little piece of metal in there and it scores the head like that. And it looks like they tried to grind it off, but it's not super flat. But there's another head with it. Plastic piece right here. I think that goes by the headlight area. We've got the original piston for it right here. 39290. There's the number, and I believe this one fits into this one. Yeah, so that one goes to that one. And then we've got some bearings, some bolts, spark plug cap. And then here's another piston. This one looks like a Wiseco one. Let's see if the numbers line up with this one. No, it does not. So I don't know what this piston goes to. That must be the stock bore, because I believe this one's a big bore right here. Looks like another set of reeds as well. What's in here? Not really sure what is going on with this quad. Top end gasket, head gasket. Looks like that was used already. Got the reed gasket right there. Looks like that looks like it's for something else. Bearing, another bearing in there. This must be the boot for the carburetor. A couple bolts, clamp. There's not a whole lot of parts, but that's what came with it. So I'm kind of curious to see if there is a Wiseco crank in there. Alright, here it is. You can see it's been taken pretty good care of over the years. Like the ad said, it's got new plastics on it. Looks like the original seat cover on there. There's a little plastic weld right there, but that looks all original to me. I'm not sure if these are extended right here. Kind of seems like it. Or there's like a wheel spacer in there or something. Doesn't look like it though. But the wheels are pretty far out in front. Then in the back, it kind of looks like an extended axle. They sit pretty far past the fenders there. And I believe these are DG Nerf bars. I'm not sure, somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Looks like stock suspension on here, and probably a DG bumper and grab bar, which are really nice aluminum. He said the headlight did work, and all the controls work. Let's see what we got up here. Lights we've got on, off. It's kind of weird that it's in the throttle control. I don't know if that's correct or not. Kind of cool. But then there's something else. It looks like lights are over here as well. So I don't know what these lights would be for. Kind of odd. There's lights over here as well. Engine stop on. And then we've got a kill switch right here. We've got the aluminum shifter on there. Engine looks like it's in good shape. No leaking from it. Looks pretty decent. What kind of carb we got in there? I believe we have a Mikuni carb. Yep, Mikuni carb. There is no coolant in it right now. He said he drained it because he was going to take apart the top end, but decided not to. He said that the radiator does not leak, but looking at the radiator right there, looks a little iffy. You can see it's all crunched up in there. So hopefully he wasn't lying about that. Then there's a bolt missing from the water pump cover as well. But we've got ITP wheels on this sucker. Pretty nice tires on it as well. I think we've got ITP all the way around, which is pretty nice. Thing's actually in really good condition, like I said, for the year. Let's see if we can find the VIN on the frame here. It did come with the registration card as well. Oh yeah, the VIN is right here on the frame. Check out the sweet Gold Series FMF fatty pipe on it. I think it's pretty nice. And then there's an FMF silencer as well. So, full exhaust. That thing's gotta be pricey. Alright, let's take off the seat and see what's underneath here. Stock air box. Awesome. We'll check that out as well. Looks like there's some holes drilled in it. That's interesting. So maybe it wasn't running right at one point. The guy thought it needed more air. But we'll check out the air filter for sure before we rip it. So I went and checked it out, and the only thing I really found wrong with it was it felt like I had low compression. So when we turn this thing over, it just feels like it's pretty low on compression. I'm gonna start it up for you guys so you guys can hear what it sounds like. The guy said that it's a little bit hard starting and that it dies when it gets warm. So we'll see what happens here. Alright, not wanting to start. I'm gonna check and see if we've got spark on the spark plug. Alright, so looking at the spark plug, this is what was on there. See how loose that is? Doesn't even click into place. So that's one problem. And then this was just poking in here like this. You can see the hole where it was. So that was like that. And that was like that. So, I think it needs to do a little better than that in order to work. So I think I've got a spark plug boot. I think that was in the parts bin actually. So let's try to use that instead, because this thing sucks. Alright, we found a boot to use. We're gonna chomp off some of this wire here. So now we like that exposed like that. You can see the wire coming through. Before you couldn't even see it. So let's twist on the new boot and see if we get better connection here. New used boot, I should say. Spark plug fits in here. Oh yeah, baby. Now, we'll check for spark. See if we've got anything. Must have been on the kill switch. There we go. Oh yeah, we're in business now. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that. So we've got good spark now. Alright, let's attempt this again. Alright, let's see if she starts up now. Alright, she just shut off, so it was idling there for a little bit, but it looks like it probably ran out of gas. I'm not sure which position on the petcock is gas flowing, or maybe there's some water in the gas. So, a couple different possibilities. I think what we're going to do first, check for gas flow. If there's good gas flow, we're going to check compression. If there is good gas flow, this thing definitely has an air leak, because you can hear it rev up, stay revved up, and then kind of like sputter and stuff. And that usually sounds like it's running out of gas or an air leak. So there's definitely something going on with this thing. You know, usually an air leak on this thing would be a bottom end seal. So like a crank bearing seal. Or else the air leak could be, except for the boot for the carburetor. But that looks pretty new, so I'm assuming it's not that. But this thing doesn't have coolant in it right now, so that probably doesn't help either. So we don't want to run it for too long. Alright, first things first, let's check this petcock out. So right now it's at reserve, and then this position is on right there, and then this is off. So let's keep her off for now and check. Oh, there's another one right here. Ah, I think that was off. Huh. So maybe we'll keep this one to on or off. I think that was off. We'll check and see. Make sure. Let's see what we're dealing with here. That would be lucky. Sorry, it's kind of dark. Alright, so there's no gas coming out like that, so the gas was off. Switch it on. Still no gas coming off. Still no gas. What the heck? Well, no wonder. There's no gas coming out at all. Any position I turn this thing to. Maybe it's off. Maybe it needs to be off. Nope. So it looks like the petcock needs to be gone through for sure. But now that we know that, that's good. Let's see here. Try this tester out. See if that one will fit in there. Alright, that's nice and tight. You guys keep an eye on the gauge. I'm gonna kick it over with the throttle open. So you guys watch this. We're hoping for over 120. It should, with a fresh rebuild, have plenty of compression. One more kick. All right. So that's a great sign. 150 pounds of compression. So that's plenty for a two-stroke. That's great. That makes me feel better. We might not have to rebuild the top end here. So let's get the petcock fixed. Try to start it up again and see what happens here. We'll see if it's the petcock or this thing that's causing problems. It's gotta be one of the two. Alright, we'll get the cup. Turn it to on. All right, let's get this gas tank off. We can. All right, let's see what's going on with this thing. I don't think I have an extra petcock for it, which kind of sucks, but... Oh yeah, there's some rust buildup on there, for sure. I'd probably do her. Get this guy off. You can see there's even gas in the line right now. This is the reserve, this is on. Looks like the on's working, but the reserve isn't. You can see it's just caked with rust and it's filled up, so that means, let's see if we go to reserve here. There's a little screw at the top. Let's get that guy out. There, that'll pop over there. Let's just try to go. It looks like maybe it wasn't going on reserve. That could be the problem right there. So it looks like it might be kind of stripped out in there. You can see that white plastic piece. There's an O-ring. The white plastic piece in there is not moving. See if I can get her to move here. I think she's stuck in there, that's why. So we can get reserve to work here. See if I can move it. There, that's working now. There, it's going down. Saw the gas go down right there. So we're gonna leave it at that setting. Clean that guy off. I think that's gonna fix our problem. All right, just double check the petcock and we finally got the thing working on reserve, so we are all set there. We're now going to try to put some coolant in it and see if that holds coolant. Hopefully it does. It's a little weird they drained it out, but hopefully she holds and we have zero problems with that. That's just the overflow leaking right now. Cap that sucker off. Let's check out the air filter here. Is there gonna be a mousey mouse in here? Let's see here. Pretty sealed tight. Ah, there's no air filter. What the heck? Well, that sucks. Alright, well that's no air filter. That's not good. Alright, we're gonna try to run this without the air filter cap on it. See what happens. Off the back. Alright, so right now it looks like the water pump is working. So when you touch the radiator, you can tell it's pretty warm. And then the hose coming from the engine, where is it? Right here is warm. And then the one over here is also getting warm. So that means the pump is circulating it. Otherwise, this line would stay cold, because it has to go through the engine in order to get hot, and that there's no way it can be pumped up and get to here without the pump working. So the water pump is definitely working, and it's not leaking, which is good. So that is awesome. It does sound a little bit on the rich side to me. I'm not sure if it's just the mix that's in there right now, but it sounds like something's going on with the carburetor. We also have to fix that exhaust leak. Looks like there's quite a bit of gas. going into there. Alright, we got the carburetor off. Let's take a look in there. What's going on? Let's see what's going on. Looks pretty clean. Let's see what jets we're running. Looks like a 190 main. Pilot. Looks like $45 for the pilot. $45 for the pilot. So we'll look up those numbers and see if those are correct for carburetor. Alright, so I checked out the forums and it looks like the stock main jet is going to be a 200, and right now we're at a, what was it again, 190, and FMF recommends a 210. So we're gonna get a 210 main in there, and then a lot of people on the forum said that a 45 pilot, you get like a low end bog to it. So we're going to go to a 37.5. This guy on the forum said he's got a 37.5 setup with a 210 main, and then the lid off the airbox and the air screw 1.5 turns out, and he said it rips. The other thing to take into consideration is that with these Mikuni carburetors for the 86, they changed the design in 86. So in 85 they had the round carburetor. This is the square body. This needle jet right here, these wear out. I guess the hole in there wears out, and it can make it really, really rich for the main. So that's another thing to consider. I don't know if that's accurate or what, but that's what I hear in the forum. So we might replace that as well. Haven't decided yet, but everything else is good on this carburetor. So we're just gonna spray this out and try to find some jets for this thing. All right, we got the carburetor back on, just hanging here. We're going to wait until the jets get here to put it back on, but I ordered up a 37.5 pilot on eBay and then a bunch of jets, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250 main jets that are coming as well, so we can kind of test those out. And then for the airbox, I ordered up a airbox cage, because there's not a cage in there, and then a filter as well. So we can oil up the filter, put that in the cage, stick that in there, and then we can finally do the jetting after that. Also ordered up a new petcock for this thing, and then a new spark plug boot, because this one I robbed off a different bike. So just ordered up an NGK spark plug boot, and then just an aftermarket cheap petcock, and they work fine. So we'll wait for those to come, and we'll put this thing all back together and take it for the first ride. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'm happy that we had 150 pounds of compression in the top end. I was a little worried when I got there because the compression kind of did feel low, and the guy said that he tested compression and it was around 100 to 120 because he had the one that you hold down into the spark plug hole. So he said it wasn't super accurate. But I'm just happy we have 150 pounds of compression. It idles, it sounds good, runs good. We're just waiting for those jets, and then the petcock, and this thing should be a ripper. So we'll see you guys next video for the first ride. Stay tuned, should be pretty fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Till next time.